You may have found this video because you've heard about being a transaction coordinator for a realtor and you don't know where to start or you don't know what that means, but you're seeing some options online. Megan and I wanted to make this video today to talk to the people who want to get started as a transaction coordinator, but they have no idea where to start. We're going to lay out kind of how we got started, what our company looks like, and then the different routes that we've seen people take in this industry in getting their feet under them and starting a really profitable business as a transaction coordinator. My name is Olivia Romer.
And I'm Megan.
We are the owners and co-founders of Avenue Transactions. We are a transaction coordination company. We provide brokerage, leverage services, and now we've recently started a training and coaching development program for transaction coordinators all over the country. So to get started, we want to tell you about Avenue. What year was it?
2020. It was like right beginning of COVID. And it was probably like at the time it felt really scary and ended up being the best time because everyone had to work remotely. So agents had to really pivot their business. So it ended up working very well for us for launching a remote services company because it's like everyone was kind of forced to make that transition anyway.
Right. We both worked in Keller Williams offices as market center administrators, so we kind of saw the back end of agents' files and their paperwork. And we worked with a couple transaction coordinators and had a couple conversations where we were like, there's an opportunity to do this better than how it's being done, how we're witnessing it being done. And so that's kind of how we started with the idea for Avenue. Megan ran all the files. I kind of worked on the marketing and relationship side of things, meeting agents and just figuring out how to get started as their transaction coordinator. And it's grown from there. We started with just a handful of clients, people that we knew that already trusted us.
And we're very forgiving for a learning while practicing
And then
mentality for a bit.
we just grew from there. Started with sheets of paper that we tracked files on.
My binder.
Megan had a binder, and then, gradually moved into the software realm, hired more transaction coordinators to work with us, and then it just kept developing from there. I think what we want to talk about today is that's how we started. We started as independent TCs. We're lucky that we have each other.
Yeah.
And that we were able to be business partners, but a lot of people get into this business on their own. And so the two tracks we most commonly see are like the solo transaction coordinator and a transaction coordinator that's hired on a team, whether a real estate team, right, with a bunch of agents, or a transaction coordinator team, some company like ours that has a team of transaction coordinators with systems already in place that provides training and structure. So we wanted to talk about both of those routes. You want to talk about the team aspect first?
Yeah. So team, we kind of talked about this. It's going to be either you're hired on as a transaction coordinator with a TC team, like our company Avenue, or you're being hired in as a administrative assistant for a real estate agent who's hiring you. Both of these scenarios usually end up that there's already systems in place, so it's not, you're taking out the concept of you like learning the systems or how to run the business. You are getting plugged into a system that's already in place and you're learning the role and being trained. Most TC companies have a onboarding process and training program that kind of, depending on where you're at, in most cases, it's a lot of people starting at zero, and it could even be zero real estate experience. So it's you learning one real estate terminology and what that workflow looks like, plus learning the role. Or if you're, agent that's looking to transition into an administrative role, or you've had some real estate experience of some sort and trying to transition to TC and you already have that piece, then it's still just you learning what the TC role is. Some pros and cons. Cons is usually you're going to make less money than if you were a solo TC.
Right.
If you're on a TC company, typically that structure is a split structure. So out of whatever the total file load fee that's being charged to the agent, you as the contractor for that company is taking a split of that total fee, and then the company is taking the remaining. If you're on a agent team, it's not that you will make less money, it's just that you're going to reach a cap. So usually that you're salaried with a bonus, or maybe it's kind of the same structure of like it's just a commission based per transaction that's closed, but eventually you're just going to reach this threshold where you're not making any more. I've seen TCs paid a decent amount that could be anywhere from 40 to 70, and then plus bonuses might reach 100, but usually that's pretty rare. And that's why we'll talk a little bit more on this solo TC side.
Right.
To find positions for this, that's going to be a little bit of digging, joining groups, saying that you're looking for that post. This could be something on Facebook. Indeed is a really good place. Networking with brokerages, actually going in the office and just saying like, hey, what if your teams or agents are looking for administrative help? And 99% of the time there's someone in at least one person in every brokerage that's looking for some sort of leverage and support for the administrative side. Right. So
I think the cons being that you're like not making as much money. I think the flip side of that, the pros, like we briefly mentioned, is that you're getting plugged into a system that's already in place. You're not having to reinvent the wheel. You're not having to figure things out on your own and, get egg on your face like we did a lot as independent TCs when we first started, where, you don't quite know all the rules and boundaries and the whole scope of the role when you first get started. I think there's like some more safety and security in joining a team and probably some more structure, but you also have a boss, right?
Yep.
You'll inevitably be working for somebody, whether it's like the owner of the TC company or the rainmaker on the team. You'll have someone that you're answering to as a transaction coordinator, which you always do. You are in service of the agent. However, those types of roles are not your own independent business, which is the section that we'll kind of talk about next and what that might look like being a solo TC.
Yeah.
Being a solo TC, it's like you're starting your own business. You're responsible for how many files you do. You're responsible for finding the clients, keeping the clients. You're doing the payroll. You're doing it all.
Yep. Accounting, marketing, lead generation. You are a one-person show.
Right. And obviously the scope of that is going to grow as you grow your business. So if that's something that you're comfortable with and a challenge that you're excited about taking, $100,000 is easily achievable in that role. Based off, you're not splitting it with anyone. You're just have technology costs, really.
Yep. And so some pros and cons of this role. One of the cons used to be is lack of training. That's one of the things that we're trying to solve right now is developing our own training and coaching program, is that it's not such a challenge to get started in this realm.
Right.
And then that's where our pieces come in. Like we're launching a 3-course series, Build, Launch, and Grow, that's based on where you're at in your journey of becoming a TC, with Build being just understanding the foundations and basics. So it's not even trying to grow your business. It's literally like, this is what a TC is. This is what they do. Here's your checklist. Here's your basic script, stuff like that. And then our other 2 courses are built on scaling that business. So, con used to be, there wasn't a huge community support. There wasn't a lot of training. We're kind of working on fixing that through our own support and community. Pros, of course, is the income amount that you're going to have. You're not capped in any stretch. You might cap at a file load for yourself, but that's where if you want to start making that transition to where you're not just like your own personal business, but you start bringing in an admin or you start bringing in multiple TCs, and now you're the TC company that's hiring people and taking a split of stuff and being able to grow your client base. Like, you have no income limit on that cap. It's really rewarding too.
Yeah, we've met transaction coordinators that manage 100 files plus a month, which we still scratch our heads and don't know how they're doing that at a high level on their own from a spreadsheet, but it's definitely possible. I mean, there's people that have a huge bandwidth, especially when you start employing technology and automations and things at a high level. There's definitely the massive scope for how big you can scale that thing if you're a solo TC. At Avenue, we're really big fans of being entrepreneurs and being a solo TC and being able to kind of build your own business to the capacity that you want. And again, circling back to kind of our origin stories, like we knew so many really powerful, talented admins that were on a team at $40,000 a year. And we're like, real estate is like this industry that there's just this unlimited income potential. And for some reason, administrators, which seem to be highly talented and capable, just didn't have an opportunity to have something that they owned. And so we're passionate about helping people get started in this, and that's something that we've always been felt called to do in our company, is enable people that work for us to like build their own schedules, like make a reasonable income and still be able to pick their kids up from school, like God forbid, you know, and travel when they want to. You know, we famously talk about a transaction coordinator that we had been on calls with him and like emailing with him all morning, and then we saw his Instagram story and he's like in Times Square in New York City, and like that's what we want for people.
Yeah.
You know, the flexibility, the ability to do the things that you're passionate about while also making a good income and providing a service for people that's really gratifying.
Yeah.
You know, the relationships that you build with agents, you know, Megan, you've had clients that you've had for 5 years, like that's huge, and you work with people at a high level, and there's something really rewarding about that too.
You build a lot of good relationships. There's agents that, you know, when I had my first kid, she sent me $300. She's like, congrats, here you go. Like, you know, they're just kind. You build these relationships, and every agent's a little bit different. Probably one of the biggest things I've learned from being a TC is how to be able to communicate with a bunch of different people.
Right.
And a bunch of different personalities. And overall, I think this role has probably taught me more than anything else that I've learned in college, other life experiences. Like, this is such a rewarding position that I think that's why people gravitate towards it so much, is you have a great income, you have a crazy amount of flexibility, a lot of relationship building that you get to network with people and just kind of learn and grow together. And it's great to see agents that you've worked with for 4 or 5 years and they've been able to scale your business or their own business because of you.
Right.
So there's so much opportunity within this role, and that's kind of where our piece comes in. So if you're looking to get started as a TC, of course, you should check out our Build course. We'll have that linked below in the video, in the podcast, because it'll be on there too. But you should check it out. We have a bunch of content in there, and we're slowly releasing more over the next couple of months. One big thing that we're building is our TC Exchange Facebook community. That's also in progress to becoming an app as well. And through that app, we're going to start doing additional trainings that are, you know, a couple days long to 3 months to 6 months, all on different content. We're going to start launching group coaching here and one-on-one coaching in the next couple of months, as well as we finish up our courses. But if you are brand new and you have no idea where to start within TC, Build is the course that's been built for you.
Yeah. And this is no holds barred. Like, we have all of our checklists, all of our email templates, all of our content is uploaded in there. Even our accounting systems are in there. I mean, we teach you how to do everything that we've done at Avenue Transactions over the last 5 years, and you don't have to go learn it on your own. You don't have to fall on your face and have those
Internet's great.
those 2 o'clock in the morning panic attacks because you forgot something for a client. Like, we've covered all the bases for you, and we're not holding anything back. So.
And that's why the community piece too, learn from others. We have it exclusively just to TCs. We don't allow agents into that page, just so it's not, I'm looking for a TC that I can pay $50 an hour, or $50 a file, sorry, and you need to do 18,000 hours of work. So, you know, we want it to be cultivated. So if you're like, oh God, what did I do? How do I fix this? You know, you can go to this community and get support from us, or many other TCs that we have joining.
Yeah. So follow the link below. We'd love to see you in one of our communities or in one of our classes.
Yeah.
And we hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'd be happy to answer them.